Hello, hello, hello. It is, what time is it in the morning? 1:20 a.m. and I am bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. I'm gonna let you guys begin to come in. It's funny, I got a lot of work done on today, a lot of little bitty projects, and I still got more work to go up there and do. But this is my version of a break. I'm taking a quick break before I go back up in here and get some work done. Today has been a really, really good day, really amazing day. I consider those days good whenever I get a lot of things done. I'm starting to realize that when I have like a major project, it just takes over my life or what have you. But when I get a moment just between the project, between major projects, I'm able to kind of kidnap myself and get stuff done that I have not done. And so, yeah, I'm trying to learn some new systems so that I can be better at everything. Oh, but that's neither here nor there. I just had some thoughts come in today, and I was thinking about singles and some of the things that keep single women single. And obviously, because I come in contact with so many women, it's easy for me to see in a lot of cases why a woman is single. And most of the times, the woman doesn't realize that this is a major issue in her life. She may not realize that sometimes it's the little foxes that destroy the vine. She may not realize what's keeping her from being found. And before we go any deeper into this, because somebody will come along and say, "Well, ain't you single?" That the difference is, I'm not necessarily looking. That's the thing. And so I'm talking about women who are like right now desiring to be married, women who are just in the wait. But I'm not necessarily looking. And to be honest with you, um, like many women, I don't have to be single if I don't want to. And I'm going to talk about that. God's permissive will versus God's perfect will. I'm going to talk a little bit about that on tonight as well. This is something, and this is just going to be, a precursor. But let me stop and just give some shout outs. AG, how are you? Triple A, hello. Sister Georgia Ann, I can't believe you up. Hey, gorgeous. Hey, Sister Grace, Sister Tia, Sister Monica, how are you, beautiful lady? Plenty of grace, how are you? Yvette, how are you? Sister Alexis, how are you? Seal, how are you? Karis, how are you? Sister Lilia, how are you? Listen, I can say your name, but it's one of those moments where you just kind of move in too fast. So, um, I was thinking earlier about God's permissive will versus God's um perfect will. One of the things, let me just say this, one of the things that I think is a benefit, I think that every single woman needs to have that alone time to get to know God and to get to know herself. You need, are y'all ready? And you promise you don't get mad at me? You need at least about a year just between you. Now, some of you need a lot more because you need to do a whole lot of healing. But you need, I would say, at minimum a year, just you and God. Now, I'm not saying isolate yourself. I'm talking about not necessarily living with somebody besides your kids, if you have kids. Not necessarily just having a bunch of people, like a bunch of voices around you, always on the phone with somebody. Not necessarily dating anyone. Like you need at least a year. I've had 7 of them. And I can honestly say, well, I can't say it's been 7, me not being on the phone with friends. Um, I'm trying to think that ended. So 3 of those years, I had a really, really close friend that I talked to every single day. And then that ended. So for the last 4 years, it's just been me and God and this little fluffy one over here. But it's been a real awakening. And I don't like to use that term, but it's just been a real awakening as to who I am, more than anything, as to who God is, and even as to who God is in me. Listen, I hope I can flow in this because it's one of those things where I kind of feel like I hope I'm not too sleep, but I've discovered who God is in me, because God is God. We understand that. But who God is in me. So it's almost like perfume. If I put perfume on you, you have a natural pH balance. If I put it on you, it's going to smell different than when it's on me because of our different pH balances. And so when God is good, he's still God no matter what. But when God filters himself through different people, he filters himself through our very design, the unique design that he's given us. And when he comes, or not necessarily filters himself, but whenever he flows through us, he flows through our unique design. And so he expresses himself differently through so many of us. He expresses himself differently through so many of us. And this is why, for me, again, I believe that every single woman should have at least a year going on daddy-daughter dates with the Lord, just spending time in the Word, spending time in the presence of God, just really getting to know God. She should have at least a year, because in that time when you don't have all those voices and all of those distractions around you, I'm gonna be honest with you, what it does is it makes you cognizant of your own issues. But what it also does is it helps you to get more of a revelation of who you are. See, just like I said, God, whenever he filters himself, or he flows through me, it may look differently in how he flows through you. It's very similar to a romantic relationship. I want you to understand, like, if you go and get in a relationship with a guy, that relationship is not going to look the same as the relationship he had with somebody else. I hope this is making sense. That relationship, your relationship with him, is not going to necessarily look the same as his relationship with somebody else. And the reason it's not going to look the same is because you have your own filters that he has to filter himself through. He has his own filters that you have to filter him through. You actually create your own unique fragrance. This is why it is absolutely asinine for you to look at somebody's marriage or look at somebody's relationship and covet it, because you can get with that same guy. He can become yours. You can snatch him. You can take him. He can become yours. Your relationship with him will look nothing like her relationship with him, because she's her own unique creature. I'll give you an example. There are women out there that complain and whine that they've been in a relationship with a guy for 6 years. He never popped a question. He got in a relationship with another girl. He popped a question. He popped a question within 6 months to a year. He popped a question. He married her. And a woman is sitting there trying to figure out why. Your filters. It wasn't a requirement with you. You were afraid to open your mouth and risk losing him. She wasn't. She wasn't. You were afraid that if you sat back and you said, "Hey, I want to get married," you were too busy. Do me a favor, y'all. We got some people on here. Do me a favor, like, and share. Like and share. Please like and share. You were too afraid to be your unique self. You were afraid that if you said something, or you were too busy trying to look like the dream woman, like, I'm not insecure. I'm your perfect woman, rather than just being your imperfect self, so that he can make a clear and sober decision as to whether he really wants you. You too busy talking about other women. I don't know why she do that to her man, trying to prove yourself to be good. You too busy doing that. You weren't raw. He got with her and she was raw. He got with her and she was raw. He got with her and she's just like, "You was with her 6 years? Not me. You did what? Not me." And you know what? Can I tell you a little surprise? He liked it. Okay. When I was in the world, let me just give you a little bit of revelation, because a lot of women don't understand this. When I was in the world, one of the things that I used to be called by guys is feisty. And I would have guys saying I was feisty. And what they meant by that was that I wasn't afraid to say what I felt. And I didn't have to say it in a or loud way, what have you. I just said no. No. What part of no don't you understand? You know, they would say I was feisty, but those words will always be followed up with three words. Those words would always, let me see if anybody can guess. Those words would always be followed up with three words. What are those three words you think they would say? They say, "You feisty." What three words? Because some of y'all, you're feisty, you probably heard it before. If you're not afraid to be yourself, what are those three words? What are those three words? Sister Kara got it. Sister Kara got it. On first try. I like that. You feisty. I like that. I like that. I like that. You feisty. I like that. Let me tell you why. You ever wonder why a man prefers a woman that is feisty rather than, okay, no, stop. You're going to make me blush. Because she doesn't know who she is. That one does. But when you're dealing with the person that says no, she knows a little bit more about herself. Also, men are hunters by nature. That presents a challenge to a guy. That presents a challenge to a guy. Easy to a guy repels him. It makes him come after the body, but not after the mind. That's a whole other thing. A lot of women in today's day and age will go the rest of their lives, and I'm not talking about worldly women, I'm talking about Christian women. A lot of worldly women will go the rest of their lives being single. Now, they're going to be in relationships, but they're going to be single. Meaning they're going to be in a relationship with this guy. It's not going to work. They're going to be in a relationship with the next guy. It's not going to work. They're going to be in a relationship, so they're going to be going through these cycles and circles. So tonight, what I came out here to do is to help you to understand that you don't have to do that. But you do have to get rid of a lot of what you have come to believe and a lot of what you have learned over the course of your life. You got to get rid of the fears. And I'm going to tell you something else you got to get rid of. Y'all ready? Make sure you like it. I like to see at least, half of the people that's on here liking. Make sure you like and share. Make sure you like and share. I'm going to tell you a little bit of secret. Y'all better hurry up before I forget, because I feel like it's trying to get out of my head. But I'm going to tell you a little bit of a secret. What was I about to say? What was I about to say? Give me a second. You say you going back to bed. Don't tell them to go to bed. You say going back to bed. I know. Get some sleep, sis. Get some sleep. But believe it or not. Oh, yeah. I know what I was going to say. Believe it or not, you think that giving a guy everything that he wants, you think they're watching Kevin Samuels, watching a bunch of guys have these panel discussions as to what they want in a woman. You think that's what they actually mean? It's not. Oh, I love you. I love you. I'm up. I'm up. When they come out on these panels talking about what they want in a woman, half of the time they don't even know what they want in a woman. They're not gonna marry the women they describing. Oh, like it, like this, like it. Get in here, guys. Get in here. They're not gonna marry the women that they're describing. You know what? Y'all ready? What they say is for the women in the comments. A lot of times I found when you see a panel discussion with a lot of men, and they put that leg, they got to put the leg, they got to do the man crosses the leg, put the foot on the knee over here, and they lean back and they they do the old jolly laugh or what have you, and they go to describing the type of woman that they want. They're not really describing the type of woman that they'll marry. There are two women that they're talking to in that moment. There are two of them. Two women they're talking to in that moment. One, the audience. They want your attention because they know the majority of the audience, 90% of that audience, 95% of that audience is women. Is women. And they're single. And you know what? They done rolled up their sleeves. They want a man. They tired of being single. They tired of it. They tired of it. They know that once they finish that panel discussion, they're going to have quite a few more followers. And not only are they going to have quite a few more followers, those followers are going to be women, and they're going to be liking every last one of their statuses. It gives them a greater menu choice to look and say, okay, oh, you keep liking my status. Let me check out your profile. You kind of cute. Check out your profile. Nah, your head kind of walked. Let me check out your profile. If you turn to the right a little bit, I think, or what have you. That's one of them. The second female that they're talking to is the woman that they see physically that they're attracted to, but they're afraid to approach. Oh, I'm gonna talk to y'all tonight. These not even my notes because I wrote down 8 things that I'm gonna, help you guys to see how the enemy keeps you from getting married, how he keeps you single. But before we go in, I'm just having a discussion with you. I'm just having a discussion with you. So remember, if you really want this to flow, engage, engage. Don't ever come on and just sit back and be like, feed me, feed me. No, engage. Make sure you like. Make sure you share. They're also talking to the females that they got a crush on, but they're afraid to approach. I'm gonna tell you something about millennials. Millennial guys are not like the guys from my generation. They're not like the X generation. X generation dudes were straight gangster. And when I say gangster, they were not afraid to approach you. They would come up to you and they gonna pursue the crap out of you. I remember growing up, I had to be 11 or 12 years old. I had to be 11 or 12 years old. And because I remember where we were living, we moved pretty much every year. And so I'm able to pinpoint my age by where we were living. And we were living on this street called, I'm not going to go there, but I remember we had a neighbor. We had a neighbor, and this dude was probably 14 or 15. He had the biggest crush on me. He used to tell my brother all the time, yo, so I'm gonna marry your sister. That's my wife right there. He would talk all the time. And I used to look at him. And I'm gonna tell you, the reason I didn't like him, because and y'all forgive me now, don't get mad at me. It's just I was a young girl. We all have eyes, we all decide. There are things about me. Some guys can look at me and say, I'm not attracted to them. So that's don't get there. But the reason I wasn't attracted to him was one, he was too old. Two, he had one eye that lived over here. He had one eye that lived over here, and the other one was always straight. And he would always be talking. That dude used to scare the crap out of me when I saw him, because he would always come up to me and he just would not stop hounding. But I'm saying that to say that particular generation did not let up. They did not let up. The X generation, those men are not afraid of your face. They will come up to you. They will say, and even if you reject them, they're going to come back again because they believe that they just got to keep talking to you. They believe that. And you know what? A lot of the marriages that you see, they all have the same testimony. I tried to talk to her. She rejected me. She rejected me. She rejected me. She rejected me. Finally, one day she said, okay, one day. And the rest was history. However, he said he always sent people on the side. however, however, millennial guys are not like that. Millennial guys are not like that. Millennial guys will see a female that they like and they get scared. And I'm not saying the entirety because I hate generalization, but they'll see a female that they like and a lot of times they just get scared. And a lot of times they wait for you to roll out the red carpet for them. You have to show them that you're not going to reject them before they approach you. Now, they will approach a female that they don't plan on committing to. They will approach a female. Right. They'll stare the crap out of you. They'll stare the crap out of you. Ugh. It's like, dude, millennial guys will approach a female that they're not attracted to. They'll get her phone number. They'll date her because they're not afraid of her rejection. But when they see a female that they really, really like, millennials tend to stare. Y'all probably have to go to bed. Millennial guys tend to. Stare. X generation, which is my generation, X generation dudes are different. Right? X generation dudes are different. X generation dude. Oh, not that you said not that long. Oh, listen, I'm telling you, way longer than that. Way longer than that. I've had I'm X generation. So there are guys that like older women, there are guys that, don't. I've never had somebody in my generation to stare. I have seen millennials do it. A millennial who probably want a cougar will stare at you for 15 minutes straight. You turn their head and look, they're gonna turn their head. You're like, good God. Good God. You turn your head back. Women got peripheral vision, guys. We see out the corner. God has equipped us with 360. Like if we can't see you, we can feel you. We can feel you in the back of our heads. We like owls. And so millennial guys, millennial guys will stare and they won't approach you until you roll out the red carpet. That's why I mean mug everybody. I ain't rolling out no carpet. I'll mean mug the crap out of you. I don't mean mug the crap out of you. But guys in my generation are pursuers. They are pursuers and they don't let up. They don't care what you say. If you say, look, bro, yeah, you're not my type. They be like, I can be. Well, how can you be my type? You're not for me. I mean, just give me a chance. I mean, what harm can it do? Go on a one date and they'll see you the next day. How about that date? Are we going somewhere? What come on. I'll take you out. One of the reasons that millennials, I think, don't approach is because the system in a lot of millennial relationships is very different. When I tell you culturally speaking, X generation and millennial generation are they are truly night and day, which is why y'all little millennial girls, you keep going after the men in my generation. And y'all trying to leave us to the geriatrics. Listen, I'm not playing with y'all. That's why the millennial girls go after the guys in my generation, is because my generation dude will come after you. Millennial females will approach a guy. I will say that they will approach a man. They will make it clear that they're interested. They'll do stuff or what have you. Millennial females will go and they'll smile back. My generation, we will mean mug the crap out of you. We may smile back from time to time, but most of the time we'll mean mug the crap out of you. They're better providers, and they have. Um, the thing is, and I hate to say this, again, remember, I'm not generalizing because I'm not talking about the entire generation. I'm talking about a culture that is prevalent in each generation. But I can honestly say with the millennial generation, there seems to be a confusion of gender roles. Like when it comes to gender responsibilities, there's this equalizing that is not healthy. This attempt to equalize a relationship, whereas a lot of millennial guys want traditional and modern mixed together. They want the wife to work 50 hours, 40 and 50 hours a week, just like them. They want to do 50-50 on the bills. But they still want her to come home and be a traditional wife, cook, clean, help the children with their homework, make sure the bills are paid. So the woman has a greater role in the relationship than the male does. The woman has a greater role and greater responsibilities in a relationship than the guys. But when it comes to the guys in my generation, not all, but when it comes to a lot of guys in my generation, they're pretty much like, um, don't you pick that up. I got that. That you like, I got it. It's not, no, don't pick it up. Don't, I better not ever catch you. If you try to open a door, girl, you better not open that door. You try to pay a bill, I got it. You try to do any of those things, I got it. And so that's the thing, right? I got you, I got you, I got you. So that's the major difference that I see in a generation or what have you. Millennial. Okay, we're gonna move on. I was gonna say a lot of millennial guys. Yeah, the father wasn't there. The father figure wasn't there for a lot of, and that's all. That is honest. That is being truthful. There has been a decline with the father figure, and because of that, a lot of millennial guys are still trying to find their way while being married, still trying to find their way while being married. All right, so I want to talk to you about how Satan keeps you single. How Satan keeps you single, because there is nothing new underneath the sun. It's the same old crap in a different toilet. He's been doing this for many years, and it's more prevalent today, especially with women, because for men have become like gods. Oh, these women out here, when I tell you they done ran down Thirsty Street, I'm telling you, women are throwing themselves at guys these days in astronomical numbers. The way that, and this is why you see a lot of guys, like I said, you can have a panel of guys talking about the type of woman I want, or what have you. And women be up there. I'm talking about in the comment section throwing their draws. They be so thirsty for that dude. Thank you, Brother Andre. God bless you. They be so thirsty for that dude. It ain't even funny, not realizing, like I said, he ain't gonna choose nobody in the comments. He's not gonna, the type of female he's describing, he's not going to marry. Most of the times when you come across people like Tony Gaskins and RC Blakes and stuff, it was not like that. They got women that resisted them. They had women that were not easy to get. They didn't go and have a woman and they say, "Hey, I want to talk to you." What have you? No, they had a challenge to get by, and even then, when they got into a relationship, a lot of times when they tried to test, I think RC Blake said, um, he said something about he broke up with his wife or what have you when they were girlfriend and boyfriend or what have you, and she moved on. I remember Tony Gaskins said that his wife didn't post him to social media, and he asked her like, "Why you don't post me to social media?" And she was like, we dating." And so one of the things I come to understand is that a lot of times, women these days, they're so easy, to be like, "Okay, I'm gonna post you to social media. You need some new kicks, I got you. You need gas money, I got you." And a lot of women will even come into the comments section, and these are what they call nowadays pick me's. They'll come into, "I don't see nothing wrong with helping your man out. I don't see nothing wrong with this, and I don't see nothing wrong with that." You are not a helpmeet until you're married. Now, you can assist somebody if you're courting, if you're dating somebody, you can assist, but you got to understand, you don't do that to convince somebody to be in a relationship with you. I can help a guy as much as I can help a friend of mine. I wouldn't sit there and buy my friend girl no $300 shoes. That ain't helping. I'm not going to do that. I'm not buying somebody I'm dating no $300 shoes. We got to be married. Those are wifey privileges. And so a lot of times what ends up happening is women, they do all that desperate stuff, and they go into these little pick me mindsets, and they sit up there, but they end up being rotated like blunts at a Snoop Dogg party, because they end up doing all of that stuff for the guy, and they end up getting dumped, and he ends up choosing the female that made him chase her. Somebody call me a lie. Come on, put it in there. They end up marrying the female that they had to pursue. They end up marrying the female that was not afraid to be herself. So anyhow, I'm going to give you 8 pointers. 8 pointers that 8 things that the enemy uses to keep you single. 8 things that the enemy uses to keep you single. Do me a favor, if you're in here, make sure you like this, because we got 126 people in. Make sure you like this. 8 things that the enemy uses to keep you single. The first one I'm going to say is trauma. Trauma. And for me, a lot of these things have layers to it, because I can just say trauma, and then you say I'm going to get a therapist and what have you, and then that's not necessarily beneficial if you don't remove yourself from the situation that traumatized you. So if you were traumatized by your parents, and your parents are still on this side of eternity and they're still abusive, and you keep subjecting yourself to their abuse, then there is no sense in getting a therapist if you're not going to use the information that they give you. You have to put space between you and your parents. You have to put space between you and your parents. I'm not saying that you have to cut your parents off. I'm saying you have to put boundaries in place. You have to set some standards. You got to put penalties in place. Sometimes you got to put those penalties out there. So for example, you have to sit there and say, "Mama, listen, don't call and cuss me out. You're not allowed to call me out. You're not permitted to call me out of my name. You're not permitted to be condescending or even talk about my business to anybody else. I love you, but if you do those things, I will remove myself from your life. I will go no contact with you. I will go no contact with you. And a lot of times when you're dealing with a prideful mama, she's gonna be like, "Do I don't care. You do that." She do that sometimes. Listen, you don't put people on punishment. Now, let me make that clear because there is a distinction between that. Putting people on punishment is more of a manipulation in an attempt to control them. No, you can put boundaries in front of your mother, put standards in front of your mother. The difference is people who put you on punishment, they'll be like, well, I ain't gonna talk to her for 2 months. I ain't gonna do this for 2 months, and then hopefully she been learned her lesson by then. That's not what you do with boundaries and standards. What you do with boundaries and standards is if I go no contact with a parent, that means that rule is there until they reach my standards. I'm not doing it to make them change. I'm doing it for me because I need to heal. I'm doing it for me because I don't want my children, if I had children, I don't want my children to have a broken mother, and I don't want to break my children. I'm breaking the curse right then and there. So what I'm going to do, I will put a boundary there, and get this, I'm going to get to the other side of that boundary and I'll begin to heal. And what does that look like? That looks like me crying. That looks like me saying, why is she like that? That looks like me getting therapy. That looks like me getting deliverance. That looks like me buying books to understand that spirit that she's operating in so that I don't operate in it. That looks like me being consistent. And that looks like me having those moments where I'm tempted to call her. I'm tempted, but I don't because I have a standard in place. And she needs to reach that standard. I don't lower my standards to have a relationship with her. I don't lower my standards to have a relationship with her. Then somebody says, well, what if she old? What if she old and she end up dying? And then I'm gonna feel bad. I'm gonna feel guilty for the rest of my life. Pray and forgive yourself in advance. Because at the end of the day, you have your relationship with her. I'm not saying again you cut her off, but you have to have standards in place. You have to have rules in place. And you go ahead and make it up in your mind. Whatever happens, if she never heals, if she never decides to have a healthy relationship with me, and she leaves this earth before we can reconcile, I forgive myself in advance. I forgive myself in advance. I love my mother. I miss my mother dearly. But I'm going to tell you something. When my mother was battling things, when she was battling cancer, when she was battling stuff, I had to tell myself many times, I forgive myself in advance because there is nothing I could do to force her to get the treatment. Like they had given her pills when they first discovered the cancer. They gave her the chemotherapy pills. She refused to take them, and I kept putting pressure on her. And then I decided to kind of let up off the pressure because she was just really passionate about not taking them. And I understood because she had been through chemo, she had been through radiation, and it just kept her in the bed. It kept her throwing up. It kept her sick or what have you. So I can't tell her what to do. Um, I tried to talk to her, but I had to say, I forgive you in advance. I had to start rehearsing or really talking to myself and dealing with myself and saying, I'm not going to carry the burden. I'm not going to carry the weight of, feeling like if I had done that, my mother would have still been here. If I had done that, you have to rehearse that. You have to really train your mind because that's just an issue of you not, dealing with your own way of thinking. So trauma. You have to put boundaries in place in front of broken family members. I'm sorry. You got to heal. You got to put a standard in place and you got to make sure people reach that standard in order to access you. You have go behind that standard and heal. And if anybody get on the other side of that standard, remember we talked about what a standard looks like. It looks like a wall. So that means that every person, in order to ride this ride, you got to be a certain height. You got to have a certain level of maturity. So that means that there are some people that are going to get on this side of the wall over close to me because they reached that standard. However, I still have to have boundaries. See, they got into my life, but I still have to have boundaries. You can't cuss me out. You can't do this. You can't do that. I got to have boundaries. Now, get this. Not only do I have to have boundaries, but I have to make sure that I enforce those boundaries. If I don't enforce those boundaries, it makes no sense to have them. I have rules on my website when it comes to, or on my websites when it comes to buying a seal or publishing a book with me. Do you think for 1 second that people don't try to get past those rules? They try every single day. Every single day, I have somebody trying to get over. Every single day, I have somebody trying to get around a rule. Every single day, as long as you're dealing with humans, and when you're dealing with money, you're going to deal with that. So when I'm dealing with clients that do that kind of stuff, I don't let them around the rule. Let me tell you why. Because I'm not a back alley person who went and stole some stuff from a store, and now I'm in an alley, a van with some stolen goods in there. Now you can talk me down on my prices. It's all in how you see yourself. I don't see myself. I don't see myself as a hustler. I have a legit business. I have legit businesses. So that's how I operate. I operate in a mindset of, okay, if I was Macy's, if I was DKNY, Waggy, I operate in that mindset like, this is the price. You can't get a discount. These are the rules. There's no way around them. These are the policies. You have to abide by them. That's how I do. And this is why I think, honestly, single women, I think you should go in business. You need a season alone, but I also think you should go in business. Business teaches you a whole lot, man. Because when it comes to it, do I get customers who refuse to do business with me because I won't lower my standards or lower my prices? Absolutely. I have people that'll call me up on the phone and say, "Hey, I want a logo, but your prices are too high." Okay. Well, if you see something on the website, go for it. You ain't got nothing cheaper? Well, we have this and we have that, but no, I want, this in this particular category. Oh, I hear you. Well, no, that's all we have. Then there's that moment of silence. Because that person is used to doing back alley deals. It's a mindset. I don't lower my standards to get that type of client. I don't lower my standards to get that type of client. I don't lower my standards. It's the same thing in relationships. I don't lower my standards to get the dude just because he's cute or just because he got a nice car. Trauma. Get back to it. Trauma. Trauma keeps you single. Most people will not get a therapist when you need one. Even in that, a lot of people won't separate themselves from the environments and the people that have traumatized them. So you end up remaining traumatized, and traumatized people do what? They traumatize people. So when you're asking God for a husband, when you're saying, God, I want to be married, what God is going to send, he wants to send something good. God is not looking to say, well, let me find somebody just as jacked up as you. Please hear that. Let me find somebody just as traumatized as you. Let me find somebody that can tolerate your issue. No, God looks in his batch of good men and he looks at you and he says, I'm not doing this to my sons. Same thing. For the guys, he looks at his batch of good women and he said, I'm not doing that to my daughter. She's too good. I've blessed her. I've healed her. You're not about to come in her life and mess her up. You're not about to come in her life and destroy what I've done in her life. Why would I bring you in to destroy when I'm building her? Why would I bring you in to tear her down when I'm building her? Why would I bring you in his life to tear him down when I'm building him? I done done all of this great stuff in his life. I done changed his heart, broke curses in his life, and you want to come in with your trauma, your Jezebelic mother that you still walking close with, and you want to bring all this stuff in his life, and now he got to deal with that? No, no. Go and get to know me better. Go seek ye first the kingdom of God and all his righteousness, and everything else will be added to you. And go get a therapist. Go get some deliverance. Get rid of that entitlement. You got too many women who are sitting on their body parts, and they think that's what qualifies them because they're anatomically correct. They think that that's what qualifies them, that I'm going to get married because I'm a female and I know how to cook. And I know my way around a bedroom. And I ain't bad looking either. End up being cute and cooking for yourself. Thank you, Sister Grace. God bless you. End up being cute and cooking for yourself for the rest of your life. Trauma. Get rid of the trauma. Get rid of it. Because you can see trauma. This is why God allows you to have these platonic relationships and familiar relationships. You can see it. Because you know what? We can't fool with some of y'all because you too messed up. One day you cool, the next day you, girl, what's wrong with you? Was your Facebook post about me? Oh, you crazy. Gone. Ain't nobody got time for that. Nobody got time for that. Now I gotta be scared to type up on Facebook. Gotta edit it because she gonna think it's about her. That's the reason why I don't go around and get so many people in my life because I don't feel like answering all them questions. You post up the Facebook, women, abstinence is still right. God is still holy, so holiness is still right. Now you got your fornicating friend in your phone texting you. I know your status was about me, but I would prefer you talk to me direct. If you got something to say to me, say it direct. And it's like, text back. You crazy. Please lose my number. Nobody got time for that. Trauma. Number two, you are entertaining somebody right now. You're entertaining somebody. Now, entertaining somebody can look like two things. You're either dating somebody, let somebody friend zoned you, they friend zoned you, but you're romantically interested in them, or they friend zoned you and they romantically interested in you. I told y'all the last time, guys, a female can friend zone you because she's partially attracted to you, not really attracted to you. Maybe you got something going on with your teeth, or maybe you got something going on with your eye, or maybe you're not the best dresser, maybe you're a little bit too passive. Women can look at you and decide that I like you. You're actually kind of good looking to me. I like some facets of your personality, but nah. And women will friend zone you with the intention of, I'm gonna go out here and I'm gonna date everybody else, and if it don't work out, I'm gonna come back to you. You my last hope. And a lot of times, guys, you think that a female is going to come into that arrangement. No, I got to come in and I already got my friends picked out for me. And I got to watch her flirt with you and I can't say nothing. Devil is a cockeyed lie. You are entertaining somebody. I remember stalking a girl one day and I saw her with a guy. Saw this girl and I was like, I always see you with him. That's your guy? She was like, no. I said, oh, well, he likes you. She's like, yeah, he likes me, or what have you. I said, but I told her, I said, but if he likes you, why are you hanging out with him like that? Well, we're just friends, or what have you. I knew what she was doing. He wasn't a bad looking guy, but she had just made up her mind that she was better than him. She had made up her mind that she was prettier. She had made up her mind that she could do better. But like I said, he was a good looking guy. But she decided, let me put him off to the side. And I told her, I said, that's a dangerous game you're playing. I said, you hear me, when it comes to guys, I said, if you know you don't like him and you know that he likes you, you need to put that boundary there, meaning you may not be able to entertain him as a friend. Because guys, when they're interested in a female, they're not a friend. They're in waiting. They're just waiting. They're waiting on an opportunity. They're trying to prove themselves to be worthy of your heart. That's all. They're trying to prove themselves. They will watch you go and get in this relationship, go get in that relationship, go get in that relationship, because they believe at some point in time you're going to come to the realization that, hey, you keep turning to me about your relationship, so obviously I know what I'm talking about. I know what you want. I know what you want. Because when a female has a male friend, she's her most vulnerable with that guy. Makes it easier for him to get with her. And a lot of women, men do it too, but a lot of women, especially women, do it. A lot of women, what you do is you end up getting with a guy and you friend zone a dude, but you're sitting there and you got it in your mind. You're just kind of dragging him around. You're dragging him around. While you out here dating all these people, you dragging him around. He's sitting there waiting on his opportunity. A female tries to come into his life, you're going to chase her out. And now you sit up there talking about some God, why don't you send me a husband? God's like, look, go release your Ahab. Go set your Ahab free. Go set that guy free. You know good and well what you're doing. Go set him free. Go set him free. You know you don't want him. Go set him free. Go release him. Now, I'm not speaking against male female friendships, because I think there are some that are good when they're just platonic interest, no romantic interest or anything like that. I'm talking about the sisters that know good and well they're romantically interested in a guy, but they've already made it up in their mind. There's something about him that they don't necessarily like, but I'll keep you around just in case nobody else settles down with me. And 4 baby daddies later, when I done sat up here and I done just kind of stretched out myself, and the food stamp system and ain't got nothing, then I can come back to him. Then I can come back to him because I didn't kept him single. I didn't chase away every female. I made every female that came into his life insecure. All right, you're entertaining someone. Number 3, ungodly soul ties. Ungodly soul ties. Ungodly soul ties. Your issue doesn't mean that you are connected or still communicating with somebody. It means that you never healed from somebody else. You still have the soul tie of that person. You still have a soul tie with that person. And when you have soul ties with people, those people have the ability to determine the weather that's in your life, or they can determine if you have a good day. They can determine if you have a bad day. Now, one of the ways that you can tell if you have a soul tie is you keep thinking about the person. You go on the person's social media page. You're probably still connected to some of their family members, and you having conversations about the person all the time. Those are signs that you're still soul tied to an individual. You have not fully let that person go. Certain songs remind you of that person. Certain scents remind you of that person. You still in a soul tie. And when you're in a soul tie, you're not single. When you're in a soul tie, you and your guy, y'all are not officially divorced. And remember, the spirit, you're just separated. You're just separated. You have to get to the point where you let go of people for real. And that looks like, one thing I can honestly say, I thank God for trauma. I know that may sound weird, or maybe it wasn't trauma. Maybe it's just the way I'm wired. I learned when I break up, if I'm breaking up with somebody, to let them go all the way. To let them go all the way. Like, get rid of everything. You bought me a ring, I'm giving it away, I'm selling it, or I will toss it. Thank you, plenty of grace. God bless you. If you wrote me a note, I'm tearing it to pieces. I'm probably going to burn it. Flush the ashes down the toilet or sprinkle it in the garden or something. If you, right, I'm going to change my phone number. I'm cutting off your family. I'm removing everybody from my life. You have to purge your life. Some of you still got the residue of the last person in your life, yet you keep wanting somebody else to come in. And like I said, when you say God send the person, God looks at his batch of really good sons and his batch of really good daughters, and then he looks at you and he says, I'm not sending them into that mess. I'm not sending them into that mess. I promise to bless them. Why am I going to sit there and take this person? Even pictures. I'll tell you what I did. Me and my ex had broken up. We were, I think I had filed for divorce by that time. We had been broken up for like 1 week. I filed for divorce the next day after we broke up because I had made up my mind. I'm not doing this. I'm not going to spend the rest of my life in this agony. Now, I had spent plenty of years fighting for the marriage. And, like they say, when a woman makes up her mind to be done, she does. A woman makes up her mind to be done. And one particular day, I literally, when I was in the early stages of that breakup, I was very cognizant. I was cognizant of the fact that I was going to, have irrational thinking at time. I was cognizant of the fact that I needed to heal. I was cognizant of the fact that I would heal eventually, but it was going to be a journey. I was cognizant of the fact that I needed to make sure I was careful so that I could heal faster. My objective actually became healing, forgiving, and healing fast. Those were my three objectives. Those were my three objectives. So I remember waking up in the middle of the night. I sat up on my bed because I was having trouble sleeping because we had just broke up, and I started having these like 2 hour naps, and I wake up crying. I wake up crying. And I didn't like it. I didn't like that feeling. I didn't like, and I knew I was going to come out of that space, but I didn't like it. And I remember sitting up one night thinking, I don't know how people do this for the rest of their lives. They agonize over a person. And I sat up and I said, God, I ask that you heal me, help me to forgive him, and help me to forgive the woman. I said I don't want to have any any alt in my heart toward them. I want to release them. The next day was a brighter day. God started doing some things in my heart because I asked for the right things. God said that people pray and they pray amiss because they pray that they may consume it upon their own lust. I wasn't praying for any ungodly desires. I wasn't praying for God to strike my enemies down. I wasn't praying those type of prayers. I wanted to heal. That was my objective. I wanted to heal. So I also made it a point to say to my friends, I don't want to hear nothing about the dude. Like I know y'all, I don't want to hear nothing about him. I made it a point I didn't tell my coworkers what was going on. It was almost a year before they found out that me and my ex had broken up. And they found out through the grapevine. They were like, I ain't know. I'm like, girl, we've been broke up. I was very mindful of who I had around, what I said. I was very careful. I knew messy people because messy people are skilled at getting information out of you. I avoided them like a plague. I'm like, hey, how you doing? And I kept it going. I kept it going. Now, it said something. Let me see. Give me a second. Oh, pictures. We said, what about pictures? I was intentional. That was the point I was making. I was intentional. So one particular day, I was walking around my house. I don't even know what I was doing. I had a huge house at that time. I was walking around my house. I happened to walk through. I was walking through the dining room, and there was like these stairs, and there were pictures on the wall. And I happened to look, and I saw the picture, the family picture me and him had took together. On the wall, just him behind me, and I looked at that picture. I was like, I went through there, I pulled a picture off the wall, and then I said, let me go get all these pictures out of my house. I went and got the photo album, I cleared it out. I went and got I cleared everything out of every photo that I had of him. Even if I was in a photo, I got rid of it. He had this box that was still, there was like his military box that he used to love, and he hadn't picked it up or what have you. So I took that box, it was a wooden little box. I put the pictures in that box and I put it on the side of the road. I put the pictures in that box and I put it on the side of the road. I found out later on he passed by my house and he picked those pictures up. He passed by my house and he picked them up. I found out later on because I reconciled with him one time and I made it very clear, like, I'm not doing this stuff. And as soon as he messed up, I went and filed for divorce again. I said, my lawyer didn't take the divorce down. She said, I'm going to put it in my desk. So yes, always get rid of pictures. Always get rid of pictures. You don't hold on to pictures. Let me look at some of the comments. I'm gonna move over here. Could a soul tie make you more prone to masturbation of being an abstinent fornicator? Yes, because you keep thinking about the person. You keep thinking about what the person did to your body or what have you. So yes, most definitely. Okay, so let me go ahead and move on. Ungodly soul ties. I don't want to get caught up in questions. I have a book called Sex, Lies, and Soul Ties. So that definitely get that book. Sex, Lies, and Soul Ties. Um, it's pretty lengthy, but I talk about how I broke soul ties, and there's Sex, Lies, and Soul Ties. You can get it on Amazon.com. So ungodly soul ties keep you from getting married. And again, an ungodly soul tie is important to note. You can have an ungodly soul tie with somebody that you're not in connection with, you're no longer communicating with, but you never fully let them go. You still want them to get back what they did to you. And I got one on here. Let me scratch it off because it falls in that same category. Okay. Unforgiveness. Because unforgiveness is nothing but a soul tie. Who needed to hear that? That's all it is. It's just a soul tie. It's just a soul tie. It's just when the soul tie changes. It's just when it changes from warm to cold. It's now there's no love in the soul tie. Still a soul tie present, but the love is gone. You're still angry with this person. You feel like the person did you wrong. You feel like the person needs to get back everything they've done, and you want them to remember you. You want your face to come up. You want them to agonize over what they did. You want them to regret it. It's not the heart of God. So ungodly soul ties will keep you from meeting the right person. And a lot of people, honestly, will go many, many years, maybe even the rest of their lives with those ungodly soul ties. I immediately think about a woman that I had spoken to. I was doing business with her when I was living in Florida, and she was in ministry. And I remember this lady reached out to me and she told me all this bad stuff her ex husband had done to her. And, I literally felt like it was fresh. I honestly thought this man had left her within the last year. And it had to be like maybe a few months ago because the wound was so fresh. She had so much bitterness and hatred in her heart. And she talked about how she was suffering financially because of him. She talked about how he had cheated on her, left her for somebody else. She talked about all this stuff. And we supposed to be doing business, but it turned into me, ministering to her because it was funny. I was going through a divorce and I should have been agonizing, but I wasn't. I was more so sitting there just ministering to her. And I remember the next day, because we're still doing business, the transaction isn't complete. I asked her, how long has it been? It's something the Lord laid on my heart. How long has it been since he left, since y'all broke up? 10 years. 10 years. And her wound was still fresh. 10 years. She was still having financial trouble. Why? Because she refused to heal and forgive. She still was holding him accountable. I was so surprised when she told me 10 years. I was even more surprised when she told me that, what did she tell me? Oh, she began to speak basically death over his marriage. She was like, he's married now, but the Lord has showed me his marriage ain't gonna work because of what he did to me. His marriage gonna fail because of what he did to me. And I was sitting there, I kid you not, I was on the phone with her. And under my breath, I kept saying, I counsel those words in the name of Jesus. I counsel those words in the name of Jesus. I ain't the right one for that kind of stuff. I counsel those words. I was even more surprised when she told me that the woman he was with was not the woman he left her for. They had been broke up. She was still so angry with him. She had no reason to be angry with his current wife. No reason. But she was still so angry with him and angry with her. She was speaking curses over that relationship. I remember having a friend like that. Man had broke up. I'm talking about broke her down. She idolized him. This is why you don't get into idolatry. And if you know you struggle with it, you need to be single and healed. I can be honest. It was something I struggled with. It's generational for me. It was something I struggled with. For me, it was hard to get in my heart. But once you got in, it was hard for me to let you go. It was hard for me to let you go. Now, I may have struggled with it. But once I did let go, I was gone. Ungodly soul ties. I had that friend. And years after, she just kept talking about that dude. He got that girl pregnant because she made a mistake. And I used to try to tell my friends. I remember telling her because she had kids with him and what have you. She had a couple of kids, and he decided that he didn't want any more kids. And she was still young. She was in her 20s. And I said, sis, don't tie your tubes. She was like, girl, I got I sis, because I could tell she really didn't want it. I said, sis, I know you want this guy. Don't tie your tubes. It ain't time yet. I told this to a couple of my friends. Everybody I told this to, funny enough, ended up wanting their tubes untied. They ended up wanting more kids. I said, sis, don't tie your tubes. Because you're going to meet somebody one day. She was like, nah, he don't want no more kids. This, and the other. He dogged her out, left her to be with somebody else. And as soon as he got with that somebody else, he went to having babies with that girl. She was now at a stage she couldn't have any more kids, but he went over there and started having more babies. That's what made it so hard for her to heal, because every time she looked at something that she did for him, she would get mad all over again. Then she had kids. When a woman has kids with a guy, a lot of times it makes it hard for her to forgive that guy, because a lot of women, when they have children with a guy, they will spend their lives. The guy keeps dealing with disappointing them, and so I think this is one I could put up in there is disappointment, and I'll make that. Yeah, we'll make that number 4. We'll make that number 4. Disappointment. Then we're gonna move on from there. Disappointment. And the reason I say disappointment, because I've had to have this conversation with a friend of mine. I had a realization one time, and I called her up on the phone. I said, "Sis, I see what the devil doing to you." She was like, "What do you mean?" I said, "What the devil does to you is he will sit up there every time you forgive this guy, every time you start your healing journey, he'll throw you back into disappointment. He uses disappointment. It's like perpetuals, a system of disappointment in your life, because this guy promised to come pick up the kids. He just keeps disappointing you, and you get mad at him all over again, and you go right back to square one. You go right back to square one." I said, "Sis, you're going to have to forgive this dude." And I said, "You got to stop expecting." One of the things you have to do is, once somebody disappoints me, I expect them to disappoint me, especially if it's a system. Okay. I love I'm trying to be careful. I love my dad. My dad, he's a good dad in his own little way. I haven't heard from my dad in months. It's a system of my dad's. It's a system. It's something that he does. So typically when he gets in a relationship, and if he knows I don't approve of it or anything like that, he gonna ghost me. That's what my dad does. He'll ghost me. I won't hear from him while he's in the relationship. I will only hear from him at the end of the relationship. At the end of the relationship, he will contact me and he will say, "Oh, baby," and then, he'll go through his little thing or what have you. And the next thing you know, he'll start talking and calling me again, and the relationship over with. Then he'll be calling me often, and he'll start trying to build a relationship with me again. Then he gets with another girl, and it's a system. Let me tell you why that doesn't hurt me anymore. It doesn't disappoint me anymore. I won't say it doesn't disappoint, but it doesn't disappoint me on at a high level. It's because I've come to expect it. I've gotten to the point where I know that's what he gonna do. That's what he does. Now, my little sister on the other hand, she will get upset because whenever a person comes back into her life, she expects you to do the right thing. She expects it. So if my dad does something like that, she will freak out. She be ready to cuss. She crying. She going off. She going on. Me on the other hand, I'm just like, no. Now, am I agonizing on the inside? No, because I've had years of experience with my dad. I've had years of experience with my dad. My dad has done that for many, many years. He's done that. He did that. He's done that for many, many years. And so, because he's done that for since my 20s, actually before my 20s, since he's been like that, I learned to expect that. I have that same thing when it comes to people. If I come in and you do something, I learned I never expect above what you've already shown me. That's it. If you say, "Hey, I'm going to do this," and you don't do it, and then you say it again, I never expect you to do it. So I'm not disappointed. I'm not disappointed. But that's what the enemy uses, is he uses perpetual disappointment to keep you in a soul tie. He uses perpetual disappointment to keep you in a soul tie, to keep you from healing, because every time you get your hopes up high, they get dropped back down. And just so this is just a little bonus for the mothers out there. If you happen to have a child and the father of that child does that to the child, and your child gets really excited, I'm talking about be like, "Oh, daddy's coming to get me this weekend," and then daddy doesn't show up. And now you're mad all over again, because now you got to watch your child hurt. Let me tell you how to stop that. First and foremost, set a boundary with him. Make sure you get the courts involved with that boundary. Make it very clear to him that, hey, don't make promises to her. Tell her, "I'm gonna try," or just tell me you'll try. Don't tell her. I don't care if she's looking you in your face and you feel bad and you have a moment where you say, "Okay, daddy's gonna do it." No, when you're on the phone with her, you get weak. Whenever you're in her presence, you get weak. But um, at the end of it, when you're not around her, you're going to make a decision not to come get her. And I get it, because your father did that to you. And I'm not beating you up about it, but I'm just saying that's a generational issue. But I want you to understand that I am present to see your daughter hurting whenever you do that. So I'm going to ask you one time, I'm going to ask you right now, let's create something where she doesn't get hurt. Let's create a system right now where she doesn't get hurt. If he does not follow through with that, then what you have to do is you have to sit back and talk to your daughter. And a lot of times children have to get information that maybe they shouldn't normally get, but you're not necessarily in a good situation. So you have to say, hey, listen, daddy comes sometimes gets busy. We have to pray for him. So just remember, if daddy says he's coming to get you, there's a possibility that he's not. But we're not going to get excited. We're just going to say, okay, if he doesn't come get you, if he tells you he's coming to get you, he doesn't come get you, we're going to still do something fine. You just tell me what you want to do. I'm going to take you here. I'm going to take you there. Over time. And I know, nobody wants to put that weight on her little heart. But at the end of the day, she's already feeling it. So I just have to get her to understand that, hey, it's okay to love your daddy. It's okay to have a relationship with your father. But also, this is a pattern. So I got to teach her patterns. I got to teach her, okay, whenever you see a pattern of behavior, it's doomed to repeat itself unless the person makes a complete stop. It's like driving down the road at 80 miles per hour. You can't just stop like that. They have to stop gradually. It takes time. And so every time we tell daddy that that's not good, we are helping dad to slow down. Now, he's not going to just stop just like that. So in the meantime, what we're waiting on, daddy to slow down and daddy to catch it. You may be a grown woman before he catches on, but he'll catch on at some point. Or we're praying that he catches on at some point. But there is a possibility that he's probably not going to come get you. So I don't want you to get that in your mind. Eventually, that doesn't bother her anymore. Daddy comes and says, hey, I'm coming to get you this weekend. Okay. No, I'm for real. I'm coming to get you this weekend. Daddy, I heard you. You say it all the time. If you come to get me, I'm glad. If you don't come to get me, I'll be all right. When that expectation is gone, she won't hurt. She may deal with a little bit of disappointment toward her father, but that'll gradually dissipate. Because if you're there and you're helping her to understand that daddy just needs to heal, rather than saying he's stupid and he's sorry, he's pathetic, he over there taking care of somebody else's kids that's not his, all you're doing is invoking anger. You're setting her up for demonic bondage. Don't do that. It's better to just sit there and say, let's pray for daddy's healing. Daddy didn't necessarily have a good childhood. And so what we're going to do, we're going to make sure your childhood is great, is wonderful, okay? But we're just going to pray for him so he can heal and what have you. Let's move on. That was number 4, was disappointment. Number 5, one of the reasons of what the enemy uses to keep you from getting married, to keep you single, is immaturity. Immaturity. Somebody write in the chat room because I want y'all to see that word. Because most of the time when you say this, there's something in a lot of Christians' minds that kind of makes them kind of go to sleep on this particular word. Immaturity. The heir, as long as he is a child, different nothing from a servant, but is though he be Lord of all, but is under tutors and governors until the time appointed of the Father. When you are the heir, there are certain things that God has in store for you. As a believer, you are an heir. There are certain things that God has in store for you. But as long as you are a child, which means immature, you can't touch those things. So we can tie number 5 in with number 1, trauma, because trauma typically causes developmental delays. Now, developmental delay doesn't always look like some form of mental retardation. A developmental delay can look like you being financially irresponsible. It can look like you not knowing how to take care of yourself. It can look like you not knowing how to keep a job. It can look like you out here spending money that you don't have. You have not developed in the area of your finances. It can look like you having the money to pay that light bill, but deciding that you want those shoes more than you want to pay that light bill. So you calling the light company and saying, I need an extension. That's a developmental delay. That's immaturity. It's immaturity. It means that you are a slave to your feelings. You are a slave to your feelings. Can I surprise you? Did you know? And this is just a stretch because there's no statistical evidence to prove what I'm saying. But I'm going to tell you from my research, from my contact, and I haven't contacted all the world, but did you know 80% of Christian women are immature? That's why the Bible says he who finds a wife, it's not easy to find a wife. 80% are immature in one or more areas and are not seeking to change in those areas. Come into my mentorship, and I can tell you right now, you will run out of there the minute I touch your stronghold. Oh, you will love me in the beginning, but as soon as we go in the area of your issue, when we go in the zip code of your issue, I get to see where you are. I get to see what you struggle with. As soon as we come in the zip code of your issue, as soon as we come in the zip code of your issue, you cannot, please hear me. Please hear me. You cannot mature by just growing older. Somebody got to tell me something for hands because I feel like this hand of mine has been having these dry spells in this little section right here. I got to figure out, like, y'all got to tell me what's good for hands. I have to let you marinate, I got to let you marinate while I'm working on my hands. 80% of Christian women do not mature. Don't seek to mature. As a matter of fact, let me show you the sign of immaturity. It's you. No, it's you. He did it to me. She did it to me. I'm tired of people always doing. You don't know how to take accountability. And when you do, you share it. Sugar scrub and whipped shea butter. Okay, thank you, sis. Yeah, thank you. You said sugar scrub with shea butter, coconut oil, shea butter, castor. Okay, I'm checking all that. And we'll drink more water. I've started recently drinking more water. Put it on with gloves. Okay, perfect. Hear me when I say this. God will not give you what you're too immature to sustain. He won't give you that. Now your body works. You get pregnant. That ain't God saying, "Push, I give you a child." No, your body functions. But when you say, "Give me a husband," somebody who has a mechanism of will, God looks at you. He sees a little girl who still has princess syndrome, or he sees a little girl who has unforgiveness, or who's soul tied to her ex, or who still got a little fight in her, a little girl who still thinks the world is cute. She's still pop locking and dropping all over the place. He sees a little girl and he says, "Yeah, no. Go get all that out your system. Go get it out your system." So the question then becomes, how do you mature? Study your word until you agree with it. You shouldn't just memorize scriptures. Study your word until you agree with it. Study the word of God until you agree with it. When you agree with the word of God, you are on a fast track to maturity. Most Christians don't do that. Most Christians don't read their Bible every night. See, I know I'm hitting conviction in some of you, but my goal is not to convict you, or if it is to convict you, but it is to provoke you to say, "Let me change," because I don't want to remain immature for the rest of my life. You end up being 88 years old, still trying to impress a bunch of young folk. They be like, "Come on, mama, put that leg. Right, look at it. Y'all little boys don't know nothing about me. Out there trying to impress a bunch of kids that you're supposed to be making an impression on. 64 years old, talking about some put a tattoo right here. Right here. I want a homicidal looking butterfly. I want him to look like he crazy. I want his wings to have like camouflage. And I want him to have red eyes, a demon butterfly on your neck. Funny thing is, I've learned just to be, on the safe side, guys, so you know, just so you know, just so you know, when I've done face-to-face deliverances, when I lay hands on tattoos, demons come out. Y'all better stop running around grabbing all these tattoos. Because they serve as portals in many cases. When somebody's having a hard time going through deliverance, I know to touch the tattoo. Okay. I know to touch the tattoo. I know. You're immature. Right, I agree. The Bible is not the only tool for maturity. You need a mentor. You need mentor experience, books, mentorship. Mentorship accelerates maturity. It also reveals your issues. Oh, baby. Over 100 women joined my mentorship. Over 100 women joined. We got a lot of them that stayed and graduating. Be surprised. Okay, that's my next one. You got to mature. Spirit assist or the spirit, or you struggle with the spirit or the system of sabotage. That's where I was going with that. I literally have women that join mentorships, coaching programs, and things I have will get to the last week or get to the last moment and quit. I won't say all tattoos. A lot of times, I just know in my experience, every tattoo I've touched. The spirit of sabotage keeps you in a system. So let's say you're writing a book. You've been trying for years to write that book. You come into a program, you get into that last week, and you become discouraged in that last week. You know how many people I've coached like that, I've mentored like that, get to that last week, lose all their zeal and energy, and go right back in here. They go look like this. They pull out, they quit. They literally have like 10 pages left of their books. You'll be amazed at how many people are caught in those systems. You'll be amazed because what the enemy does. What the enemy does, Lord. Okay, I don't want to unplug anything accidentally. God, I need to. You know something? I had a thought one day, and it's been about a month ago, and now that thought is coming back. I had a thought to buy rope, and I didn't buy it. I got to buy rope. What the enemy does. All right, we'll draw. We'll draw. Like it, guys. While I'm drawing, do me a favor. Make sure you like. All right. Give me a second. The funny thing is, when I was in kindergarten, I used to love it. I was a better artist in kindergarten than I am now. I used to be really good at drawing. Very good at it. Kindergarten, oh goodness, I could look at you and draw your picture. How do I remember that? Because I just remember being in kindergarten drawing. Okay, give me a second. Now, yeah. I don't know what happened. I used to be good at drawing people. Okay, give me a second. Almost there, guys. I have seen All right, we're going to stop right here. We're going to do it just like this. Okay, give me a second. Almost there. I feel like I still draw like I drew back as a kid. I never developed that. Okay. All right. All right, I'm almost done. Almost done. I'm not Picasso, so don't laugh at my drawing. Just get the point and move on. Give me a second. All right. Okay. No laughing. Okay. All right. This is my drawing. So, wait. Just so this doesn't look so odd. Okay. Give me a second. I had to give her another leg. All right. Just so this doesn't look so odd. This is, let me show you. This is a leash. This is a leash. I want to show you how a stronghold works. This is a leash. You can have a demon, but even if the demon is gone, the leash will tie you to something. So this is a leash. This is what a stronghold looks like. Yeah, you can hear crickets outside of my house. But this is what a leash looks like. Well, this is what a stronghold looks like. This okay, we'll just do it here. This is your goal. That leash will allow you to go so far. The stronghold will allow you to go so far. Even if we cast the demon out, we're just going to do, I don't feel like drawing no demon. Okay. We're just going to do something crazy for a demon. All right. We'll just do this here. All right. Let's say this is the stronghold. This is the strong man. Whatever the strong man, maybe the strong man is rejection. The demon, once the demon is removed, once this is cast out, the leash is still there. Once this is cast out, the leash is still there. This is a system. Every chain in this link represents a thought, a belief, a trauma, a memory. It represents, so all of these things are linked together. A soul tie, all of these things are linked together to keep you from going forward. So the way that this works is, the best way I can describe a stronghold is, think of the story of the Hebrews in the wilderness. They left Egypt. God rescues them. They go through the Red Sea. They're being led by Moses. They get into the wilderness. What should have been an 11-day journey ends up taking 40 years. They're in the wilderness and they're going in circles. They're going in circles. That's a stronghold. That's what a stronghold looks like. It's a limitation. It means that you can't reach your goal because of a stronghold. A stronghold is a mindset. It's a mindset. It's a series of beliefs, traumas, and experiences that come together to keep you from moving forward. Am I making sense? Please tell me if I'm making sense. Because I want to make sure. I hate to teach and not know if I'm making sense to y'all. Are y'all getting it? The demon can get cast out, but the chain is still there. Think of this. Dog on a chain on the outside. Dog breaks the chain. The chain is still attached to the dog. The chain is still attached to the dog. What's going to happen is the dog takes off running. Phew! Freedom! He's running. Life is looking beautiful, it's looking good, it's looking wonderful. He's running. But what happens? That chain gonna get caught up on something. It's gonna get caught up on a tree. It's gonna get caught up in a tire. It's under a tire. It's gonna get caught up on something. That's what a stronghold looks like right here. We cast the demon out. The only way to break this is important. This is important. This is important. I need you to hear this. The only way to break this, I'm gonna write it down for you. The only way to break this is through information. Because all of these are a bunch of words that have been spoken, words you've spoken, experiences you had, information. You need new information. But get this, in order for new information to get in, it's going to start breaking those chains. Guess what's going to happen? It's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. You got to have somebody to tell you, you need to go get delivered from that witchcraft spirit. Because you got a real issue. And you know what? It's going to hurt. The average person, if you in a church and your pastor tell you that, you will quit and claim church hurt. You don't even realize, in order for you to get free, you needed to hear that. You know what that was going to do? It provoked you to say, how? Pastor, tell me what I need to do. Like, how do I break it? Because I don't want to walk in this anymore. I know it was on my family. I don't want to be like this anymore. I know I've been through trauma. I don't want this anymore. How do I get rid of it? Okay. Thank you, Sister Chelsea. God bless you. Okay. Go through these books and make sure you get some therapy. Get this book, get that book, get some therapy. Get therapy. Get that book, get this book, get that book, get therapy. And whenever you're tempted, whenever you're tempted to move like that, do the opposite. And what I need you to do is I also need you to be accountable. You know, we, as a leader, as a teacher, and especially as someone who's survived trauma and overcome it, because it's one thing to survive it, it's another thing to overcome it. When you overcome it, you can put it down on the ground and you can put your foot on it, cut his head off and take his sword. But I'm more than a conqueror in Christ. I took the revelation and the wisdom from the storms. I healed, I forgave, I came forward, God blessed me. I know what it takes to get you out. But I can't drag you. We get passionate because it's frustrating when you like, man, listen, just jump. I'm telling you, look, you might get your feet a little bit, but it's okay. God gonna give you new shoes. Jump. You ain't gotta stay there. And you sitting there. I can't come back over there and jump you because you're gonna be too heavy. Then we're not gonna make it over. Listen, jump. You saw that I did it. I jumped and I made it over. Jump. Sis, you got this. Jump. Jump. And at some point, every leader has to leave you behind. Jesus will come get you. He go after the 99, but he tell the leader to move on. He'll leave the 99 to find the one. But when he finds you, that doesn't mean that he's going to pick you up and drag you. I know we like to romanticize it. He going to come find us, fold it up. He going to pick us up and carry us and, you know, and basically affirm our victim status. It's not reality. I'm telling you from somebody that came out of trauma. You ain't talking to nobody who was born with a silver spoon in her mouth who has princess syndrome. You ain't talking to nobody like that. You talking to somebody who dealt with a whole lot. And God took me through a long journey of healing and deliverance. And I thought the way that many people thought that, okay, because all this bad stuff happened to me, you're supposed to do this as my God. You supposed to let me have this. When I tell you entitlement, when I tell you God knew how to get that out of me, God knew how to get that entitlement out your soul. Where he got it out of me, I wouldn't wish it on a sick dog. It was hard. It was a hard journey. The spirit of sabotage is a habit, it's a system, it's a pattern of behavior that you have. Meaning you read a book and then you can't finish it. You start a friendship and it always ends. You get in a relationship and it breaks. That means that every time it looks like you're about to get, where was I? Every time it looks like you're about to get breakthrough, that chain yanks you right back. Every time it looks like you're going for it, that chain yanks you right back. Every time it looks like you're about to do something great, that chain yanks you right back. I gave my students, and that's the prepping assignment. They're all writing books. I've been amazed at how many resignations I got from people. Thankfully, I won't say it's been a whole lot, but I will say it's 10. Either left or sabotaged. Because right then and there, I had to challenge the issues. Okay, now it's time to write about your life, time to write. And people found their issues. Now, the majority, they're writing and they're posting up about it. This made me cry. This blessed my heart. I just realized this. I just realized that, oh, this is helping me. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. But then you have some people, right when they get to the edge of breakthrough, right when they get to the edge, literally, we're about to have a graduation ceremony. Literally, we've had people resigning who graduate this month. Went through a whole year. You know what that's called? I'm not talking about them. I'm using this as an example. You know what that's called? And you know the frustrating part as a leader is that we see your potential and we be like, come on, come on. You got to get delivered. Come on, come on, come on. And at some point, God says, let go. Because you can't go against their will. Because when you pulling them, they pulling back. You have to break the stronghold. It's not just about casting the demon out. You got to break the stronghold. Got makeup on my finger. You got to break the stronghold. The demon, we cast it out, but this got to go too. How do you unravel this? Trying to get it clear up. You see what it says. Therapy, books, coaching. Get in a good church home. Be consistent with your church attendance. Read your Bible every single day. Pray every single day. Speak in the Holy Ghost. Pray in the Holy Ghost. Get some therapy. Get books. Get coaching. Get yourself a mentor. And understand this. Mentorship does not look the way you thought it would. We romanticize that. I tell people, and I'll move on to the next. We Mr. Miyagi. I've said this to my students. This is Mr. Miyagi Syndrome that people have. That, as my mentor, I'm supposed to have your phone number and I'm going to call you and be like, and you're going to tell me, you got this. You're not going to give up. You're not going to quit. You're going to go out here. You're the last dragon. Go on out there. It's not what mentorship looks like. Mentorship looks like somebody putting food on a plate and seeing how much you're going to eat. I got a library of messages. I look in there to see how much the women eat. Because How much you eat tells me how hungry you are. Are you hungry for me or are you hungry for God? Oh, you ain't ready. Are you hungry for me? Are you thinking I want to connect with Tiffany? Or are you saying I want to connect greater with God? Because if you're saying you want to connect with me, you're going to get mad. You're going to get mad. Because I'm not Mr. Miyagi. All right, let's move on. Immaturity will keep you from going forward. If you want to go forward, you need to mature. You need to go make sure you're in a good church home. You need to make sure that you're going to church, not just on Sunday, but going to Bible study. I would advise you get involved in your church. You need to make sure you get books galore, so you can learn about your issues. You can learn about, like, if you deal with narcissism, you study that. If you deal with fear, you study about that. You learn until you master that topic, and you master overcoming that in your life, so that you can help other people. You want to make sure that you get therapy. You want to make sure you get deliverance. That's how you mature. If you're not doing all of those, you're just sitting there. And you probably gonna do this right here. And I'm gonna tell you, as far as you're gonna run some laps around the church, but you ain't really going nowhere. You're gonna run laps around the church, but you ain't going nowhere. I'm talking about can run 100 miles an hour. You can watch you run back around, but you're still on a leash. 4th of July, you outside barbecuing in shackles. You celebrating a freedom that you don't even have. All right, you gotta mature. You gotta mature. Number 6. Oh no, that was sabotage. Sabotage. Number 6 was sabotage. You got to break the system of sabotage. You got to make sure that if you have a habit of quitting, you have to make it a point to not quit. I'll tell you, for those of you who are going to join Esther Prep, one of the ways that you overcome quitting, don't buy 3 months, because you can pay monthly. I mean, not monthly, quarterly. You can pay quarterly. You can pay it for 6 months. You can pay for 9 months. It's a year-long program. It's a year-long program. Pay it out for the year if you can afford to. Don't give yourself an opportunity to quit. Dumbest thing people sign up on a resignation form for me is, I was just trying out the program. Baby, you ain't going nowhere because you ain't trying. I was just trying out the program. No, get yourself, lock yourself in as long as you can, and make it a point that you say, I'm not going to quit. This next batch of students, I'm going to make sure I'm filtering, because I don't want quitters. I don't want people have that trial mindset. That's on a leash that don't want to be off the leash. See, right now, you guys are going to see about 50 new authors come on the scene just like that. Could have been more. Spirit of sabotage. Number 7, you like to take advantage of people. This is why you're still single. This is what the enemy uses. When you are the type of female, and I think every woman, if you're not that type of woman, you've had those type of friends, and most of us don't want to be friends with those type of people. Thank you, Sister Brianna. God bless you, sis. We don't want to be friends with those type of people, because those type of people, typically what they do is they always expect you to pay for stuff. Like, they always think you're supposed to do for them. It's like their friendship is just one-sided for them. They be like, how do you sign up? Let me post it up. Give me a second. I think I'm gonna have to get some more moderators, because my moderator seems to have quit. Okay. Go to this website.com. Go to that website, click on Academy, and you'll see Esther Prep. Don't go to Pilot, because people are choosing Pilot Mentorship, and that's closed a long time ago. Choose Esther Prep, and you can register from there. Make sure I post up this, because I noticed it. All right. For those of you who want to sew, you can. For those of you who don't complain, just don't sew. All right. Give me a second. But what was I saying? Give me a second. You have a thing. So we've had those friends that we've gone out to a restaurant with, or you sit up there and you tell them, say, "Hey, girl, you want to go to Red Lobster?" Or whatever restaurant you want to go to. You say, "Hey, girl, you want to go to Red Lobster? You want to go here? You want to go there?" And she's like, "No, I'm on a budget." Y'all know, I honestly, it's something that in that word budget that triggers me now. Because every time I've heard a woman say, "I'm on a budget," it meant that she had money that she could spend, but she just didn't want to spend it on that. And she really just wanted you to buy her stuff for her. And in my experience with these type of women, not everybody, but just my experience. I can't, like I said, I don't do the generalization thing. But in my experience with these type of women, what they typically do is they'll tell you, like if you say, "Hey, I'm about to go run and I'm gonna run down here and grab this. I'm gonna go run and get this something to eat," and they say, "No, I already went over my budget this month," and you say, "Okay." They're actually expecting you to get them something to eat. So a lot of times you just be nice. You be like, "Hey, I got you." "You sure?" "Yeah, I got you. What you want?" "Oh, just give me this, give me that, give me that." Okay. You will see them. Let's say you work with them. You will see them that same day walk up and drop money on something. They will walk up and drop money on something. You will watch them sit there after they done told you they didn't have $3 to get themselves a sausage biscuit. You will watch them walk up on the job and be like, "Oh, they said such and such is selling gift baskets." "She is. How much are they?" "50. Oh, those are real pretty." Everybody getting a gift basket. Then she feel bad around you. "Oh man, I'm going into my budget money." No, you're a user. You like to take advantage of people. I've never seen somebody like that blessed. They have to live their life hustling other people, manipulating other people. They have to live their life hustling and trying to figure out who to get, and they always end up in a corner because they've been hustled. Everybody, don't nobody trust them. People start looking at the phone, ain't gonna answer your phone call because they already know what you want. "Can you come pick me up?" "Where you at?" "Girl, do you know that's like 45, 55 minutes from me? You ain't got nobody close to that computer. Your house is like 15 minutes from the spot. Why you calling me when I'm 45 minutes away from you?" "Girl, I ain't got nobody out here. No, you done burned all your bridges. You done burned all your bridges. Now you calling me thinking I'm gonna drive 45 minutes to come take you 15 minutes away. You better put them knees in action. Or call Uber. Or call somebody and apologize. I'm sorry for getting over on you. Can you come pick me up?" Most of us know people like that. We know people like that. They have a problem. And these are the people that friend zone guys. These are the women that friend zone. And they friend zone people that they know got crushes on them. And they'll let that guy pay. They'll use him for his time. They'll use him because they're single. They use their female friends because they're single. They're always taking advantage of people. They're always trying to get you to pay for them. They say thank you more than they say you're welcome. Every time you look around, they're always in need of something. Use those Chevrolets. I love it. Right. Always in need of something. Every time you look up, they're in need of something because they just spend their lives. I literally have faces that pop up as I say that. Just faces just randomly popping up in my head. Girls who feel like they shouldn't have to do nothing. Because they cute. Oh, y'all don't want me to go there. So used to flirting and getting what they want. Where you finna go? And they do this with women. They do this with women and men. Where you finna go? Oh, I'm about to go over here to Old Charlie's. All right, you paying for my food, right? No, I'm not paying for your food. Not your man. Come on. You fall for it one day, it's funny. Right, they do. They do. They bounce around on TikTok all day. You may pay for their food one time. Maybe you may even let them get you twice. But after a while, voicemail. Nobody got time for that. When you see them walking with a new batch of friends, you already know they ain't paying for nothing. They don't pay for nothing. That's all they do is walk around using their little cute faces. My birthday is Tuesday. Happy birthday. Happy early birthday. You didn't even ask me what I want for my birthday. Because I wasn't planning on getting you nothing, but I guess, what the heck? What do you want for your birthday? I want to show you this shirt. Shirt costs $60. Child, I don't know you to spend $60 on you. You still in the $10 range. What the heck? You still in the $10 range. I don't know you like that. I don't know you like that. You probably in the $15 range. I could probably spare 15 for you. I'm not paying money on you like that. I'm not. I'm just not doing it. But that's what keeps some women single is that they have a habit. They never pay for themselves, even when they have money. They have a habit of taking advantage. They even take advantage of little kids. Junior, where's your daddy? Aw, thank you. He got a crush on me. Thank you, Junior. What he gave you? I think that's his lunch money. Always taking advantage of people. I don't want to tell you where that's going to lead. I don't want to tell you what that's going to lead. I'll tell you this, and we're going to move on to the last one. If you want to know what a future of a woman like that looks like, it typically looks like 3 kids in a stripper pole. Moving on. Number 8, another thing that keeps you single. You have the spirit of division. You gossip, you slander, you divide. The spirit of division is the opposite of the spirit of unity. Everywhere you go, you don't know how to resolve conflict. So instead of you trying to resolve conflict, what you do is you divide. Oh, that makes me want to go live again, but I ain't because I got to go in here and put some work in because I started thinking about the spirit of Jezebel and what that demon does, how it holds people hostage. Oh, God. Spirit of division. A lot of women have the spirit of division. You don't know how to resolve conflict. You don't know how to have healthy communication. Everything that ends in your life, you feel like you have to sabotage it. You got to destroy it. You feel like you got to go out with a bang. You feel like you got to make people get on your side. It's got to be 2 sides. He said, I stay home and collect dust. Listen, I'm telling you. One of the things, if you ever want to be married, you have to master, if you want success and you want marriage, you have to master conflict resolution. And it cannot look like gaslighting. It cannot look like you taking partial responsibility. It can't look like that. It has to look like you humbling yourself. God put threw me in that ring. God threw me in that ring, and I remember I was married to the wrong person. And I was in prayer, all the time. All the time. I was constantly failing the test and what have you. I went off and said something I wasn't supposed to say, and I'm back in God's face. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But God started teaching me conflict resolution. God started teaching me, like, when you yell at him, do you get what you want? No. When you cry, do you get what you want? No. When do you get what you want? Honestly, when I leave it alone. And even then, I don't always get what I want. I had to learn that it wasn't about me, that life wasn't going to always be about me getting what I wanted. I had to learn that the best conflict resolution is to sometimes hold a peace. Just let people make wrong decisions. Let them do what they feel like they need to do. Even if you're married to that person, let them make the wrong decision. Let it bite them in the butt. That's their lesson. Instead, what you do is what I used to do. I'm going to divorce you. Go get a lawyer. I don't even want you. And I'm not even just talking about romantic relationships. You go into churches, you create division because you get mad when you get in your feelings your God. So what you do is you tell people how you feel. You find folks that feel just like you. You get caught up in gossip and slander. Then you try to sprinkle with little words of honor so people don't think you're getting into dishonor. You got a spirit of division. Conflict. You have not mastered conflict resolution. Tell you this. If you ever get to the point where you master conflict resolution, if you ever get to the point where you can literally have a conversation with a person when you're hurt and you lose the fear of confrontation, because you got to stop calling it confrontation. That's how you lose the fear of it. Stop calling it confrontation. It's just conflict resolution. It's, I value this person. I value our relationship, so I don't want to lose it. I'm having a meeting with this person. I'm going to go have a talk with this person. You got to get to the point where you learn how to not think that a season ends just because your feelings are hurt, just because you're mad, just because you're angry, just because you didn't get your way. If God sees you, and we're getting ready to close, if God sees you and, give me a second, it just dawned on me. If God sees you and you have yet to break this chain, you can't ask him for no man or no wife. Every time you look up, you go right back to the same vomit. You cuss somebody out, you quit everything, you split in places, you causing division. Yet you say, God, I'm going to give you a picture of this. This is your goal. Remember, this is your goal. Let's say the goal is, give me a second. I just want to give you pictures. This is your goal. Your goal is in the will of God. As long as it's in the will of God, you can have it. Now, I want you to think of it. I want you to see this is like outside. We outside right now. This is your goal. This is the leash. We didn't cast out the demon, but we still dealing with the stronghold. We still dealing with the stronghold. We still dealing with this. You're still chained to a whole lot of stuff. You need more information to come out of that. Give me a second. Let me go ahead and block somebody. This is the goal. It's in the will of God. The goal. Let's say marriage, kids, entrepreneurship. That's the goal. God wants you to have it just like you want to have it. But I want you to get this picture. I want you to get this picture in your mind. What God is not going to do is send a husband outside of his will to get you. Send the kids outside of his will. Now, you can have kids out here, but they're not going to be with the right man. Send up the business. You can get the business, but it won't be successful. He's saying, because we got to get over this thing, I'm waiting on God. You're not waiting on God. He's waiting on you. He's waiting on you. What he's trying to get you to do is break the chain. His promises are what? His promises are yes and amen. But they're only in his will. This is where the confusion comes in. This is where we have so many Christians running around on a leash in the wilderness, and they stay out there. And remember, the only thing that's in the wilderness are wild animals. You end up dating wild animals. God is trying to get you in his will. He's trying to get you to just break the chains. But in order for you to break the chains, you got to get information. You got to study your word. You need to get yourself a good mentor. You need to go and get all those voices out of your head, especially those familiar voices of people cussing and all of this crazy perverted stuff. You need a season of being alone. You need a season of just going to church, coming home, study, going to your job. You need a season like that. You need a season where you can clear out everything in your life so you can hear the voice of God. You need a season where familiarity is not a part of your life. You need a season where you sit back and you say, God, I feel lonely. He said, but I'm here with you. You need a season where you say, well, I have nothing else to do. I might as well open this Bible. You need that season. You need the season. Break the chain. Because we can cast the demon out. The demon, we can cast him out. I can do deliverance tonight. I'm not going to do it. We can cast him out. But guess what? If you don't break the chain, might as well keep the demon. I'm not encouraging you to keep demons. I think you should go through deliverance. Because at least you won't have the demon tugging on the chain. This right here is generations of ignorance, trauma, fear, anger, rage, fornication, everything that is unlike God, oppression. You got to unlearn your way out of all of that before you can learn something better. And when people come and try to teach you, understand this. If that leash has been on your neck for a long time, it's going to hurt when they try to remove it. If you got a mentor who ain't hurting your feelings, you don't have a mentor. We have to offend you sometimes. We got to get on your nerves sometimes. We got to make you feel like, I don't like you. I don't mind a student of mine getting to the point where they feel like, I don't like you. As long as they don't get to the point where they respond and they get into dishonor. They get buck while they do the work. She thinks she is. As long as they understand, I'm here for their purpose. I'm here to pull them out. But the minute they see me as an enemy, I cannot mentor them. The minute they see me as an enemy, I cannot mentor them. I have to let them go. You can only help people where there's honor present. That's a whole other message. Do you have a book on breaking the stronghold of being emotionally, mentally abused by the Jezebel parent? Um, I have a book called Breaking the Strong Arm of Jezebel, but I don't think get the book Jezebelian. I got a book series called Jezebelian. Get that. That'll be your best book. Get the book Jezebelian. I'm getting ready to close, guys. But I just wanted to leave you with this. Yeah, Jezebelian. This right here, most Christians are on that. Won't let you mature, won't let you go far. You'll go so far in life, and then your feelings start acting up. I feel like this. I don't feel like that. I feel. You begin to break the chain when you ignore your feelings and do the opposite of what your feelings tell you to do. When you do the opposite of doing what your feelings tell you to do. My feelings tell me every single day, I don't feel like this. I feel it every single day. I am currently about to be 50 books in. Thank you, Sister Yvette. God bless you. About to be 50 books in. You think I feel like doing all that writing? I have about, I have several businesses. I get orders all the time, and that's a blessing. But do you think I feel like doing that? I have a responsibility of a dog. I love my dog dearly. But you know what? He needs movement. I have to take him out walking, go outside, run laps, all this stuff. I don't always feel like doing that. I got clothes in the dryer right now. I dumped some out on my bed. I got to get these out the dryer. I got to put them up. I don't feel like it. But despite how I feel, I don't let my emotions or my feelings run me. I don't let my emotions or my feelings run me because they can be present, but it doesn't mean I have to bow down to them. It's just carnality. It's just flesh. So those clothes in that dryer, I'm going to put them up. The clothes I dumped out on my bed, I dumped them out so I can come do the slide. I'm going to go upstairs and put them up. I wash my dishes every night. I work on my business every day. I do a lot of stuff I just don't feel like doing. All our honesty, say this. We had a conference at my church, Create Conference this weekend. Amazing, powerful. I'm telling you, oh my goodness. One of those powerful creates we ever had. I'm talking about amazing. But baby, it was starting Thursday. And I was joking with one of the guys at the church. I said I had create trauma. Because from the first one, because you volunteering and you're working so hard and you get so sleepy and tired and all of that stuff. I told him I had create trauma. And so the first day I went, the first night, I didn't go in the right heart at first. I started off in the wrong spirit because all I could think about was, man, it's gonna be long. We're gonna be here a long time. All I could think about was work. That's where my mind was. Work. God got me out of that, thankfully, because I went up in there and first I got a little bit frustrated, but then I had to overcome that. Then I had to go back. And the next day, I didn't feel like it. But then when I get there, I'm like, I'm glad I'm here because it's has such an amazing time. So many amazing speakers there. Then I turn around, same thing third day. Third day, got to get up early in the morning. Went to bed late at night, got to get up early in the morning and show back up. I volunteer in my church. I don't feel like it. I master always doing what I don't feel like doing. Somebody asked me one time, I think it was the last live we had, which was yesterday, and I took it down. I did a question and answer. Somebody asked me, how do they overcome timidity and fear? And I said, for me, I've always, been introverted and never been comfortable being in front of large crowds and stuff like that. And it's funny, as a young girl, I realized I didn't like being like that. So what I did was I joined the cheerleading squad at my school, and I joined the dancing dolls. I put myself out there. You cannot overcome fear unless you confront it. You cannot overcome fear unless you do the opposite of what it tells you to do. You have to disobey fear. You don't obey it, you disobey it. Who needed to hear that? Yes, Amazon's the best place. You never run you never run from fear. You don't run with fear. You run towards it. You don't run with it. You don't run from it. You run towards it. So you know what? If I'm afraid of anything, I'm gonna go and confront it. You afraid of dogs? Get out, go to a shelter, pet some. Keep doing it until the fear leaves. Educate yourself about animals. Get books on dogs. Watch videos. Overcome the fear. If you're afraid of losing, get books, study, and then do things that you know that you can lose, that you could potentially lose, so you can get used to losing and being okay with it, and then you'll master winning. Losing is not the worst thing in the world. It's not the worst thing in the world. You're afraid of going into business for yourself, afraid it's going to fail. It probably will, but do it anyhow, so that you can get the fear out of it. And then once you cast the fear out of it, you may start it again and it'd be successful. You know how many businesses I started that failed? Plenty. But you know how many I started that succeeded? Plenty. The only way that I was going to be in business, and I had to be okay with failing. Nobody likes to fail. Do the opposite of what you feel. You feel like quitting? Recommit. Commit stronger. You in your church and you feel like, I need to find a new church. I just feel like I don't feel like people, they understand me. They're not embracing my anointing. Go join a ministry at your church. I'm telling you how to break these. I'm telling you how to break this off. Right. Invest. Pray on it. Find where to invest. Invest. A lot of people have fear. Oh God. Oh, I don't want to preach it because a lot of people have fear in their finances. They have fear, the spirit of fear in their bank account, because they have fear surrounding their money. A lot of people. A lot of them. You know how you know? Get them in church. And they can be hallelujah running. And they say it's time to give. Watch that spirit sit them down. Oh, it's a demon. Watch that spirit. And the mentality. Fear comes in immediately. Oh man, well, I gotta pay these bills. I gotta do this, I gotta do that. Fear. Fear of giving, fear of being taken advantage of. Fear, fear, fear. They say in your church, hey, give a $3,000 seat and you can afford it, and you feel the weight of God on that. Now I'm not saying do it if you don't feel the weight of God. I've learned not to move, on anything unless I feel like pressure from God. And even in that, there's nothing wrong with moving without feeling the pressure. But I'm just saying, if God is moving you, go do what He told you to do. Don't disobey God and obey fear. Don't disobey God to obey fear. Don't disobey God to obey fear. You have to obey one or the other. You got to choose who you will serve. Which one? Fear or God? That's your chance to answer. That's your chance to answer. I ain't say sow a seed or nothing. I just said this is your chance to answer right here. Who are you going to obey? Fear or God? Which one? Because which one you serve? The one you obey is the one you serve. And the one you serve is the one that gives you your reward. Thank you, Sister Kalika. God bless you, sis. The one you serve is the one you're going to get your reward from. That's the one who gives you your reward. You let fear in your finances, it'll rape you, it will rob you blind. Choose God. Choose this day who you will serve. I'm going to get ready to let you go. If you want to be married, you got work to do. Faith without works is dead. You want to be married, you got work to do. You got to heal. You got to forgive. You got to educate yourself. You got to get the deliverance. You got to overcome this, I don't feel like it. You got to overcome feelings. That's one of the things that I pray. I do not want my feelings to ever have reign over me. I don't want my feelings to say, well, I got to go here, man. I don't feel like it. I don't mind feeling it. I really don't care. I really don't want to feel it. But I never want to be that person that obeys my feelings. People who obey their feelings are easily offended. They quit everything. They always going off. They create division. They always doing something because their feelings said so. I feel it. Don't obey your feelings. I love you. I'm going to let you go. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.